Hey, blessings everyone. Pine Grove News Live. If I got everything correct here. The V. Give me 1 second. See if I'm out there on YouTube, and I am. Okay. Everything's running. That's very unusual. So it's 6:00 p.m. on the dot here in New England, on the East Coast, in northern Connecticut, in the Valley. 6:01 p.m. I hope everyone's doing okay. Blessings to everyone. And I mean that, you know. Why wouldn't I want blessings on y'all? I mean, any case, just a conversation I may have heard in a chat room, you know, been part of. I've always got to be a part of those chat rooms, yeah. I go there to, you know, keep up on what's going on with my brothers and sisters. And we're all going through much. We are. So, you know, blessings to you. You know, people have prayed that for me. I prayed it for myself. Well, not necessarily blessings, but, you know, to finally, for a change, instead of my money disappearing, you know, all this money I make, and then all of a sudden you got something that you never heard of before, or comes up and bites you in the butt, man, and they want money, or you did something wrong and you're fined, you know, according to them. But anyway, you know how it works. You know, you get a little extra money, and then boom, it's all gone again. And so you got to work it all up again. And I asked the Lord, you know, there's no reason for this to happen. You promised to bless me. You promised to, you know, that if I gave, you would bless me. And I really don't care if I'm blessed if I give, but he promised it. It's one of his promises. And he has so abundantly, he has blessed me. And it's not going away. I've been so blessed to be able to help other people. One of the things that, you know, is my mission. You know, to be a watchman, tell you about the news, what's going on, the signs of the times. You know, I don't make any money off it. I spend a lot of time in it. Most of it I like. You know, it doesn't bother me anyway. You know, sometimes the news piles up and, you know, brings you down a little bit, but, you know, get away from it for a day or two and you're okay. Get refreshed in the Lord. It's all I need to do is go pray, go read the Word, you know, study, and it goes away. So I really do hope that you all can be blessed and let yourself be blessed. Why, you know, he said for us to continue to do what we're doing, not to stop and sit on the steps and look up at the sky 24 hours a day. No, he talked about idle hands. He talked about just doing that very same thing. Well, we are to keep busy, but in the meantime, you know, still keeping our attention to the signs and what's coming. You know, I don't know, what an accomplishment, you know, a feeling that would be to have the Lord come and find you watching him and expecting him, seeing him come. And, you know, for him to say, you know, well done, my servant, my son, my brother, wouldn't that be great? Hear that from Jesus himself. I know he holds no one person over the other, and nor should we. So let's get going. I have a little bit of news. There's a lot of news out there, but it's regurgitated, it's regenerated, it's you know, and updates upon updates on the same thing, on the same news. Yeah, the Democrats are trying to divide this country. They're out there on sabbatical in Puerto Rico, enjoying themselves in the sun, while, you know, federal workers missed a paycheck. Okay, Coast Guard is coming back in. without getting paid. Some TSA agents have. Others have called out sick. Yeah. Well, if you've ever watched, what is it? Voice of America, I think it is. I don't know who the guy is. He just talks a mile a minute about the same things. But there's a special show. It's probably only 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Oh, the lady, Steel Truth or something like that. Very interesting. They had mentioned all this, so just bringing it to your attention. I have a lot of weather. I have a few stories about, the people, people in this day and age, the immorality. I like to include some of it. I know it's not top, signs of the times. Maybe it is. The immorality, the things that are going on, man. I'm just thinking about one of them because it's funny and not so funny. I mean, it's stupid what they did. But this is what our generation coming up is doing. And what about the one below them? What are they going to come up and do? There's already stories about us, being Lot, being in the time of Lot. I mentioned Sodom and Gomorrah. That's where we are, almost. We're not quite there yet, but pay attention. There's a new commercial out there by Gillette, and actually OAN. That's One American News that I can stand to listen to a little bit. Talks about that commercial and what these times are doing to everybody. Men, women. Anyways. So. Where we go normally, I go to the Watchers, and we'll go through some storms, hopefully, because Watchers, they tend to be a little delayed in some of this, so try to pick up ones that are no more than 2 days, because I only do the news every other day. So hopefully, in most cases, you haven't really heard about it unless you went through it. So I'm going to talk about this storm right here. Rare winter storm aims Jerusalem, Israel. Snow in it. I don't, do they get snow? Well, obviously they get snow. But the key word that's been going around this past week, or maybe a couple weeks, is rare. It's rare. It's, in diverse places, in different places. To me, it means normally, not normally there. It's rare. Anyway. Man, this thing keeps jumping up and down. I'm gonna keep an eye on that live stream, because if that goes down on YouTube, I'm gonna have to restart it. I'm not gonna restart this because this keeps going. I have backup copy over backup copy that I can use if the YouTube goes down. And so far, knock on wood, the internet has not gone down yet today. The TV has. Actually, at least three times already since I've been home in the past 3 hours. Heck, it went down twice just last night, or 2 days ago, and Monday during the broadcast. I was still able to get it out in one piece on VMO and BitChute and put it on my website, but I had to put it out in 3 sections on YouTube. Anyways, trying to take care of it, but you don't want to hear about that story. It can only happen to a person of God. That's it. This is not a trial. This is well, he could be using it as a trial. How I'm going to react. He does that a lot, and it should be done because I need a lot of training in my reaction time. So it's not what goes in a man that defiles him, right? It's what comes out. Boy, have been a big, it's been a big component. I don't know how to put that. been a big part of my life. I react instead of thinking. That's one thing that I find very pleasant and joyous in following Christ is that the more you follow him, the more you learn, the more you're tested, the more you know, and the better you get as a person. There's no immorality in a Christian. Got to talk about something over this weekend. Got to talk about these. I got to put these notes down, put this together, and talk about these things because they should be talked about. Talked about that again today. Who's the Christian and who's not the Christian? What Christian is doing the walk and talking the talk at the same time? Don't just talk the talk. Walk the walk. What do you think a Christian is? Well, it's Christ-like, is it not? That's what the name infers, does it not? So, sorry. Jerusalem is bracing for a rare winter storm, with snow forecast to reach the city during the afternoon hours of Wednesday. That's today, on the 16th. Strong winds, low temperatures are expected to persist for several days. Well, don't worry, Jerusalem. Here in New England, we sympathize. We understand. We go through that every winter. Every winter. So I'm going to talk about a little bit more weather because there's a little bit. Different places, diverse places. This one, California, just, got my call today from Northern California. And, yeah, the rivers are swollen already. Rain was coming down a little bit. But the night before, it was pouring. And they're expecting more. This atmospheric river again they're talking about. So a series of storms aim California. Flash flooding and significant debris flow risk near the burn scars. I mean, that's the whole thing with that. You know what I mean? A lot of people, and I tend to agree from time to time that, with these, it almost seems pretty coincidental, don't you think? And once an area is all burned and the ground is just not able to soak up water as much as it can because there's nothing holding it back. You know what I mean? There's no more. But in this case, those fires, I mean, most of it was houses. It wasn't really, the trees, was it? I mean, there were trees that burnt, but there's a lot of green trees that were around houses, and the only thing that burnt was the house. Yeah, these fires just were a lot weirder than before. But, normally in that case, the ground is not able to soak up the water as much as it normally does. And so every time you see, past 2 years, I've been seeing that over and over, especially in California. Last year was Northern California, Washington, Southern California. And then they get rain right after that. It's kind of weird, huh? Yeah. So that's what they're calling for there. A series of Pacific storm systems will bring several rounds of heavy rainfall, mountain snow, strong winds, and burn scar flooding, especially in California. Another significant winter storm could bring heavy snow, ice, and hazardous travel from the plains to the Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, and the Northeast U.S. late weekend into the weekend. Yeah, somebody said that they're calling for a snowstorm here in New England for the weekend. Well, folks, it's Wednesday. Last night I heard that we were going to get, probably a mixture. Nothing significant. And for the weekend, I mean, I can look at my own weather map here and I don't see anything for the weekend. I don't know how they can predict 5 to 7 days ahead. You just can't do it. Somebody please tell me if they know of a weather person, okay, that can predict that far ahead and all right. Anytime. Anytime. I bet you can't do it. So here's the picture. Risk of heavy rainfall and flash flooding increasing after sunrise. Yeah, we've heard all about this. Excuse me. Atmospheric rivers, Pineapple Express. Of course, that's the one that turns and goes towards Hawaii, or vice versa, something like that. A lot of terms that I've never heard before, you know. So anyway, this deep Pacific trough off the west coast will remain in place for the next few days with the frontal boundary approaching central California to Tuesday evening. And a much stronger storm arrives Wednesday night. So yeah, you know, those rivers, you know, eyewitness are swollen. So if this rain does continue, and they are expecting it in their forecast in Northern California, yeah, they're talking flooding, you know. There was a long period of time there, right? That I mean, got to be almost every day that there was some place, somewhere in the world, was flooded. Flooded. I mean, I remember the two preachers used to do that. I used to get video from them almost every other day or every third day of someplace flooding. You know, actual pictures, you know. All right, so with that, the from Strange Sounds. Oh, let me put this up. I apologize. This should be the first thing that goes up. And this is called Fair Use and Act, and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. That's supposed to be at the beginning, I would think. So it's there. Couldn't get it out the other day because they stopped it. So now mandatory evacuations ordered in California as 3 fast-moving storms start hitting it. Burn areas scorched by last year's holy fire. Now, I only put that up because of this. Last year's holy fire. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I've seen, you know, 10s and 20, you know, multiple videos of these fires. Yeah, maybe, you know, now that I think of it, I might have heard somewhere along the line them talking about it being a holy fire. You know, if you consider paradise, you know, in the Bible and Garden of Eden and where we're going when we're out of here, man, we're going to paradise, going to heaven. So residents in part of Southern California have been ordered to evacuate, as the first of a parade of storm systems has started soaking areas scorched by last year's holy fire. So, you know, I haven't seen this article yet, but Holy Flood Watch, 11420, must go. This is their warning. Flash flood watch has been issued indicating rain capable of triggering debris flow is predicted over the holy fire burn area today. So there you go. Must go. Holy fire. Holy floods. Apocalyptic. Yeah, I'm so tired of that word being used now, but you know, maybe it all is now. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is all apocalyptic. Biblical, anyway, right? Birth pains, you know, distress of nations and seas roaring. Yeah, I mean, all that's happening, man. You know, I've been learning a lot more about the so-called rapture lately. It don't normally cross my mind because, you know, if there's going to be a rapture, whether it be pre-trib, mid-trib, or post-trib, whatever it is, you know, all I know is that we're going. You know, if we're chosen, if we've been accepted, then we will go. It's not just every believer goes. No, it's the dead in Christ that rise first. And Jesus does not come here He maintains his distance in the clouds. That's the difference between the rapture and the second coming. Because the second coming is a day of wrath, man. Just what's going through my head lately. It is the second coming is a day of wrath. He comes with 10,000 of his saints. Comes to he comes to put an end to everything. So in any case, yeah, pre-trib, mid-trib, post-trib. Either way, the dead in Christ will go first, and then we will join him in the air in a twinkling of an eye. And I've missed a couple things there and after, but that's basically it. That's all I know, and I'm not going to argue with anybody about it. I know I have in the past. Not about the trib because it doesn't matter. And now I just figure I've been given, at least the understanding that I'm not going to go through the tribulation, at least not the tribulation, the 7 years, they're talking about with this tribulation. We're in the times of sorrows. Took me a while to get that too. We're in a time of sorrows, not in tribulation, though we do have tribulation and we have trials, okay? But it is not those 7 year tribulation period. We're going to be gone in heaven with Christ when that happens. When the Antichrist comes on the scene and all that other stuff. We're gone for that. Yes, we are. Those about the mark of the beast, I think that that's not going to happen to us because we're not going to be here. In any case, let's go on to the weather. Sorry to keep doing that to you, especially if you don't believe, the same thing I believe, which is okay. It's okay. It just means that you're in a different walk than I am, and whatever. I need to learn something that you may think I need to, and vice versa, and that's okay. That's getting a lot easier too. I don't take offense as hardly any lately to what anybody says. I just know, with discernment by the Holy Spirit, of whether something is, I don't know, good or bad, or when you could just tell something almost immediately. Sometimes you get something in your head just or in your physical body just goes off. It's like an irritation, especially when it's no good. And when it is good, you will know that as well. Yeah, you can't really trust your feelings, but it is a physical response to a spiritual revelation, in my opinion. So let's go back to the weather. Australia, yeah, bats dropping out of the trees. I think we've told you about this a couple of days ago, but this is just an update. So Australia is in the midst of a scorching heat wave that has set all-time temperature records in what has been 4 of its most sweltering days in history. Even bats fall from trees in the Adelaide. So this extreme hot weather has engulfed much of Australia since the weekend in what has been 4 of the most sweltering days in history. Just read that. So the Bureau of Meteorology, meteorology, probably do it that way. The BOM, the Bureau of Meteorology in Australia said Saturday, Sunday, and Monday and Tuesday ranked among the top 10 hottest days on the record for the country as a whole. I don't know, do you want to listen to it too? Hot, man. We'll find out what the temperatures are. I haven't heard this yet. Hear it? Oh, you know what? If I do play anything here, you won't hear it unless I turn this up. But I'm not hearing anything. No audio. Just a bomb update. All right. I'm trying to find out some of the temperature. Let's go down here. Where's that area that, oh, Adelaide, right down here. 102, 100, 95, and 14th, 15th, and 16th. So 95, 102, 100. And over here, we got 97, 104, 106. I believe that's Fahrenheit. That would be pretty bad if it was Celsius, right? So yeah, laying down under. Vegemite sandwich. Yeah, stupid song. What was that? What do you call that group? You know, with the guy with the hard hat on, and oh, I don't know. Singers. That was way back. So also from strange sounds about the weather, it's so cold in Turkey that animals are freezing dead. Who knows? I mean, didn't the mammoths, you know, get flash frozen? That was a different story, I think. I think maybe the atmosphere opened up somehow. Something punctured a hole in the atmosphere, and immediately they had the temperatures of space, you know, come down. And in an instant, flash froze mammoths, giant elephants. Well, this cold weather and heavy snowfall engulfed northwest Turkey last week, killing more than 10 people in weather-related accidents. And it was so cold that animals literally started freezing dead. What is that? That a fox? Some type of fox? Yeah, frozen fox. What was the temperatures there? Are they going to tell me Celsius, which I do not know? What's that down there? I'm going to read that red stamp. But anyways, Turkey heat wave temperature, let's see. A fox and a cat were found frozen in the Calderon district of Van. For extreme cold temperature between, I'll see, they're not going to give me the Fahrenheit, but minus 15 Celsius and minus 25 Celsius. Can you give us, I gotta learn that, man. I think 0 degrees Fahrenheit is like, what, 30 or 32 Celsius? I don't know. I would just be guessing, and that's not, you know, hope he does it. Minus 35 and 40 Celsius at night. Well, you know, we have a typical weather pattern here. You know, in the teens at night and low 30s to upper 30s during the day. That's the kind of winter that I can, you know, bear with, unless you're outside. Yeah, searching for food. Yep, sorry. I didn't know that they were going to show the kitty cat frozen to death. Yeah. So if you know, get the little converter there. I know it. I can do it here in Google. You know, but I don't know. You want to try it? Let's go. Let's see. Conversion. The conversion to Fahrenheit. Here we go. So let's just take, we'll do this, 32, right? Well, let's go minus 32. Minus 32 degrees Celsius is minus 25 Fahrenheit. That's still pretty darn cold. And they're saying what? 40 at night. So 40 at night. Come on. 40 at night is not 40 over there either. Oh, I don't know what the heck's going on there. All right, so we'll get away from that, get back to weather. I thought this was funny. This is not weather related. This should have been at the end of the broadcast with the rest of them. from the Daily Mail. They have all kinds of stuff there. Not good stuff either. But this, my father, but the cops have no sympathy. And right down there, you for a service, and you know, sometimes you just get. I get fed up with my kids, and they have kids of their own, and they have phones. In any case, yeah, everybody has just got these things plastered to their heads. I admit I have to carry one. I got to know what I use it as a watch. I got to know what time it is. I don't wear a watch. I used to wear one, but I don't have to. If I got to have a phone, and I got to have a phone to text people in and out of the building, I use it for work. Rarely use it for anything else. That and a notepad. That's what I use it for. Yeah, so IRS recalls 46,000 workers to handle tax returns without pay. That was very nice of them, too, as Trump promises refunds won't be delayed by record-breaking government shutdown. So the IRS workers, so people, sorry, yeah, you're still going to have to file your tax returns. I'm not looking forward to mine because I work in one state, live in another state, and both tax me. And from a lawsuit, 9 years ago, the state of Connecticut has decided to take that out of my income tax returns, so I won't get one. My wife will. Got to file another piece of paper so that my wife isn't penalized for that. Got to do it every year, even though they know it. And they shouldn't be taking the money out of my return, period, because the state of Connecticut, some program gave, customers who were on the right end of the suit anyway, only because I took out a clause in the contract and they signed it. I just took out took something out, and the only thing I took out was that they have a 3-day, get out of the contract deal. But that didn't matter. We were almost at the end of the contract. 2 weeks left to a 2.5-month long project, and they were paying me. And then we got into a bunch of bickering because they were taking, they were taking parts of the contract and giving them to other contractors for whatever reason. Okay, I'm not going to go into that. It's all, shouldn't even be telling you this now, but. And so there was a dispute. And it was sold only because I took that clause out that they get, a 3-day escape from the contract, even though it was, 2.5 months, like I said, into the contract. Anyways, let's get into the earthquakes now. 6.6 that happened yesterday, I believe. Vanuatu, in the area that has the earthquakes. So nothing new about that except that 6.6. I mean, now that these 6+ earthquakes are becoming so normal now, do you see the increase over a period of time? When we start getting the 7s at a more frequent rate, we're in trouble, man. And it seems like we get a 7 every couple weeks, and maybe every 3 weeks. If that starts picking up, then we could be in serious trouble. But I haven't heard about any tsunami since then. I haven't seen anything in the news about it. So, except that, Alaska is still ringing off the charts up there. Oops. Up there. So anyways, but what was even rarer, and I can't find it yet. I don't know why. I had it here because I was showing my brother from Northern California. Yeah, so anyways, I just can't find it at the moment. It should be right here. Here it is. Sorry. This is rare. See the word rare again? Rare. 4.7 magnitude earthquake strikes off the coast of Maryland. Felt across North Carolina coastal communities. Okay? Yeah, I don't get those things in my list anyway, only 6 and above, but I don't know, I gotta start keeping track of the ones off the East Coast. Rarities. There you have it. It was detected in the waters offshore of Ocean City on Tuesday night. The USGS reported the earthquake, which had occurred approximately 136 miles off the coast of Maryland at about 6:30 p.m. Despite the far distance from shore, it is possible an earthquake of this magnitude could be felt on land. Okay, so 30 people, what are you talking about, man? Felt most in Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia reported feeling effects from the earthquake as of about 8 p.m. Well, rare, people, rare. All right, so I guess we're going to talk about this now. This is from Now the End Begins. Good place if you want to catch up to date on some of these prophecies. But you just be aware of everybody or anybody and whatever they teach you. Just make sure that you seek the truth in everything. That's all. These people put out good news, but I don't agree with a lot of what they talk about. A lot of their beliefs. But anyways, that's not why we're here. Go shave. Gillette new anti-man toxic masculinity campaign sparks global uproar as angry customers call for a boycott. So let's go listen to OAN, see what they have to say about it. You notice anything? Okay, now, OAN came out, I don't know, last year, I guess, as far as I know. And in the very beginning, you notice something very, very similar and familiar with the talking heads there. You ever go to Fox? Go to Fox on almost any given day, morning show, whatever. And what is the common factor? In the women, anyway. All blonde-haired. And anyway, very attractive.
This week, very controversial because it essentially accuses all men of being inherently sexist.
Uh-oh.
It paints masculinity the way the American Psychological Association defined traditional masculinity last week. Remember, we talked about that on the show.
Tradition.
As being inherently harmful and bad. Watch this Gillette ad.
Bad.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual harassment.
Masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and
Me
sexual
too.
harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool.
Some already are. Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
Wow.
So first of all, what they're talking about in this ad, the sexual harassment, the bullying, men viewing women as objects, that is not manliness. It's a lack of manliness. True manliness respects women, uplifts women, cherishes women, protects women, and yes, recognizes that men and women are different. Gillette is buying into the toxic nonsense spewed by radical leftist feminist man-haters who try to cut down men in order to put women on pedestals. That's not what women want. That is not what our culture needs. The left paints women as victims, We are not victims just because we're women. The left paints men as monsters. Men are not monsters just because they're men. Here's the thing. If there is a crisis in the culture among men right now, it's because of leftist progressive views like the rhetoric pushed by Gillette in this ad that blames all men for the crimes of a few terrible men. This is what I mean. The political left, you encourage...
Is that a parachute hanging on her ear? Why does she have to show that to us? She wants us to see it for some reason. She bailing out.
Encourage men to be less manly. You encourage men to view women as sexual objects without the respect women deserve. When you encourage a culture of meaningless sexual hookups without respect.
I'm going to stop that right there. You know what? View women as sexual objects. Well, and we're going to talk about this on a weekend sometime too. You know, because women make themselves into sexual objects. They can dress differently. They can do other things differently that will not. And I'm not saying that men have any right whatsoever, you know, to do anything they do against women like that. But to go out there and wear the things that women wear, I don't know. Now, what did I do? So in any case, we're going to talk about that, though. You know, somebody made a good point one time, you know, about women and the things that they wear, especially, you know, their top. I mean, look at this woman right here. I mean, her blouse, shirt, whatever you want to call it, is up to her neck. She's doing the right thing. I've seen other women, and you can't help, you know, a lot of men. I mean, we have this thing in us, you know, this instinct to, you know, I don't know what to tell you. You know about the birds and the bees. But anyway, you know, some women have these things, and their tops it goes into a V, or it's wide open. I mean, the only thing that I'm looking at from that point is their opening, okay? Is the top. I'd rather look at their beautiful face. Why do they point everything down to their chest? I mean, I don't know. If you're a Christian, I mean, you think about those things. You don't want to do. Anyways, I don't know. We'll talk about it another time. You know, should be talked about. Sweatpants and a heavy coat. Hey, Terry. Oh, she was? Drug dealer. Your daughter was. Wow. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Terry. Yeah, you know, if a man is going to go out and molest a woman, yes, it doesn't mean that, you know, because she's wearing some kind of V-neck type thing or open blouse. In any case, that act is an act of hate and violence, period. It doesn't matter what a woman is going to wear. If a man has that in his mind, you know, it doesn't matter. But that's you know, another story too. That's another side or aspect of, you know, problem with men these days and women, you know, their moralities. So anyways. Yeah, I agree, Terry. You know, if something like that comes out, they definitely have demons inside. Something, and it, you know, before demons were actually openly talked about, you know, it was just, yeah, oh, the devil made me do it and stuff like this. But in any case, man, it's just it's a very violent act, and anyway, should be talked about. But we'll go on with this commercial anyway. They're going to show you the real commercial.
Responsibility without love outside of marriage. On the political left, you encourage men to be less
Oh, no.
manly when you encourage young men to put off taking manly responsibilities, put off committing to one woman and providing for her and protecting her and leading her until young men have played the field and sowed their wild oats. On the political left, you encourage men to be less manly when you glorify pornography. Is there anything in this world outside of rape and assault that is more degrading and damaging to women? Is there anything that negatively impacts the way men's minds are wired to think about women than by viewing pornography, where women are objectified and reduced to objects? On the political left, you encourage men to be less manly when you mock Christianity, which teaches men that true manliness is obedience to a God that calls us to sacrifice ourselves for others, particularly for women and children.
Amen.
On the political left, you encourage men to be less manly when you dictate that males aren't allowed to have opinions on abortion unless men are celebrating abortion, instead of A, taking manly responsibility when they get a woman pregnant, and B, standing up and defending and protecting the right to life of unborn babies. We don't need to change men and destroy masculinity itself. We need to embrace true manliness and encourage men, to be leaders, to be fathers, to be husbands, to be God-fearing members of a community who teaches their sons by example what it means to be real men, instead of inundating young men with destructive messages that cheer when men get laid or score with women. What did you expect our culture to look like when you've spent the past 50 years teaching men to be less manly? That void you've created is now filled by a lack of manliness. That's the problem. Try spending...
Yeah. And now they got men so darn confused and whatever. I mean, they got them dressing in certain ways now. And I don't know, who are these men that actually do these things? Anyways, a very bad thing that's going on in society today and everything, you know. So you should know that where we are in this time frame, in this age that we're going to, and these things just, you know, add to, as I think we've already seen, you know, the days of Lot. That's coming up. Did I include that? Yeah, well, there's some other stuff here like, no, I don't want to show that one yet. But there was one about this 10-year-old transgender boy. I don't know where it was, whether they're on stage, whether they were taking pictures or whatever they were. And I thought I had it here, but I cannot find it. There was a story about an adult, male, transgender, whatever, that was on the same stage, naked with this 10-year-old boy. So now that all these things are coming out in the days of Lot, it's all it reminds us of. Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, now they'll probably pass laws before you know it that, you know, pedophilia will be okay. You know, that the porn, you know, that's not okay, but actual pedophilia, you know, yeah, man, we can go and we're going to have to talk about these things, and I can't do it now with the news. It would just be too long, and I don't know, for more interaction. Yeah, Terry, well, it could get a lot worse, Terry. I mean, I've read about the days of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah. I mean, that is pretty much open. You know, this 10-year-old transgender boy and this adult male naked together, and where's the outrage for that, you know? Yeah, I believe that we're going to be, you know, the Lord is not happy at all. He's going to take what he can get now. I mean, he's trying to do some things with America, maybe have a chance for the Lord to come back into America, like he's given the Jewish people many times, and you know, they didn't do it enough, and they were carried into captivity. And it's going to be the same thing with America. And hopefully, because it would be a very terrible time. I mean, things that are going to take place, the 7-year tribulation that we've talked about, yeah, we're not in that yet. Hopefully, we won't be. That we'll be, you know, carried away in a rapture before this happens, because we're not accounted to that kind of tribulation. We're in the times of sorrows. We're in, we're watching these birth pains and how they're continuing to increase in intensity and frequency and everything, even with this immorality. And go read the gospel, go read Romans. I think I was reading Romans last night, Romans 9 or 10, talking about all this stuff. The gospel, maybe it was Thessalonians, Corinthians, Romans for sure, talks about all the immorality, and we have a lot of it in spades, man. We just have a lot of it. And it's the parents, they're just so much darkness out there. I feel that we may be going, hopefully in my lifetime, I would really like to see the Lord return. It feels like he's going to be returning soon. But we won't see that. We will see that. We'll be raptured, so we won't go through it. We may be the one of the 10,000s that go back to earth to, help Jesus reign in the millennia. But anyways, that's my opinion, and we'll see what happens. There's a lot of people that live in denial, Jerry. A lot. Even my unequally yoked wife. But there has been, I've seen some hope in some of the things that, she says or does. And I just have to be patient, and I pray all the time for the unequally yoked. Talk about a couple brothers and sisters that are going through that right now, that just give it time. Time and patience, the Lord will provide. The Lord will prevail. Nothing that he does or says will return to him void. That's one of his many promises. So just hold to that. I have, and for years I have. I've just now seen the fruits of that labor that Jesus himself is doing. I can't do it. I just have to be patient and let him do it. So we do. And so in the meantime, we got a couple more things to finish up. And we got this, these girls right here. Where was this report? This was a 911 video, okay? The title of it is Girls Filmed Twerking on Top of an SUV, Driving Down the Highway in some viral video. Now, can you imagine that? You're driving down a busy highway and these two freaking girls get on top of a car and start waving their butts up and down the highway. This is what we've come to. This is one of the many things that we've come to. And then we got this stuff, daughters. This is from CBN, Christian Perspective of the Christian News. Daughters come home with mustaches, breast removes. Mom sounds alarm over shocking new trend. This is going on in the colleges. This is what our children are being taught in schools. They're being taught to do many other things that the parents are not even going to be told of. They're keeping these things from you. And even if you wanted to do something, they're going to do it behind your back. And then if you decide to homeschool, you're going to be fined and or arrested, or child abuse services, whatever, will come knocking on your door. These are the times that we live in, folks. It is very sorrowful. I understand that we're in the time of sorrow. We can feel it. I can feel it. There's one who's much stronger than any of it. And as long as we are heading in that direction, everything will be okay. We're going to be okay. This one from the End Time Headlines. Days of Lot. Outrage as a 10-year-old. This is the article I was talking about. Outrage as a 10-year-old baby drag boy photographed with naked adult drag queen. And this has been in the news quite a bit. At least this 10-year-old boy has been, had national attention. I don't see any outrage. I just see people, they talk about it and they talk about it, and nothing's done. Where's the parents? Why aren't they being, psychoanalyzed for abuse on that 10-year-old boy? You know, anyway, I'm sorry, people. You know, I'm going to be one of the first ones out there to tell everyone, you know, confused, disillusioned, or given a delusion, you know, by our Lord, I'm still going to tell them that I'm sorry. You're not born anyway, but male or female. It's either one or the other. It's not anything in between. It's not portions of that and portions of the other. It's either, you know, male or female. Sorry, that's it. And until they start coming out with using this CRISPR scientific darkness that they have, splicing these genes, and until they come out with a transgender woman or man, however it works, I won't doubt. I will not doubt that they will maybe even try and come out with some new species of humans that is neither male, neither female. I mean, this is the time that we're living in. And all these things that we see on the net, you know, as far as technology-wise and stuff like that, that's what they're showing us. And there's one rule about that, right? Whatever they're showing us out there in the open, just figure that they're at least 20 years more advanced than that. Guaranteed. That's the times we live in. But don't lose hope. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. Take hope in the fact that we are so close that your Lord and Savior, just believe, okay? Believe why he came here. Believe why he's coming again. And you won't be, you know, sad or suicidal. You'll be happy and joyous, knowing that he is coming soon, very, very soon. Or you will go away with him, away from this, you know, chaos and cesspools of demonic deviations, all kinds of junk. We're out of here. That's why I'm watching. That's why I'm telling you. So you know too. Not to have fear or hate. No, but to have joy and hope. That's what I get from it. You can too. Why not? Yeah, well, this is a miraculous story in any case. You can be the judge of it. This is our last story. This is from Sputnik. This is a story of this toddler. Okay, there's a video out of this toddler. I don't know, the back door, the toddler is in the car seat and the car door opens and the seat goes out onto the road and the mommy and daddy or whoever just drive away. This toddler, though, was not hurt. Matter of fact, I'm looking at a picture of him or her right now. Well, it'll be a her because she's dressed in pink. Just looking at the car that stopped while she's laying in the road in her car seat. In any case, there's a video there. Let's see. About a 2-minute, 55-minute video. You like go take a look. It doesn't really show the ejection of the seat. Well, no, maybe it does if you watch it carefully. In the very beginning. Oh yes, it turned the corner and child is just sitting up. How did the door come open to begin with and the seat be, you know, loose enough for the baby to come out of the car? The parents or the person, whoever, drives on. It's out there. It's quite a bit. It's a popular story. So this I don't know, you know, there's an article underneath there. Startling footage shown, let's see, Mankato, Minnesota, mother's vehicle. Gained an enormous amount of views. Yeah, I guess so. From concerned social media users, Mankato Free Press put some at ease, confirming the child was uninjured following what is considered to be an accident. You know, and that was the other thing, too. First of all, not only one is the seat not buckled in. Okay. And I don't know, as a parent, I've done this myself. I'm in a hurry or something. I've always had a problem with the seatbelt, having to go underneath this thing and click it in. And I figure, if it's part way in there, I've taken my chances, and that was the stupidest thing to do, and drive off. Not going far, but anyway, to have that and the car door not shut. I mean, I don't know. It looks very suspicious of how it happened. And anyways, there's crazy stuff going on, man. Crazy, crazy stuff. So, with that, everyone, that will about do it. So let's say God bless to everyone. It's Wednesday. I am starting a new shift just for a couple of weeks. Still going to do the news, but I don't know how this shift is going to affect me. I'm going to have to work second shift. Part of the first shift, it's something that was added to my itinerary. I agreed to it. Like I said, hopefully it only lasts a couple of weeks, so I won't be too tired from it. But I'm getting up there, and I don't like to be jostled around. I can't work 12, 16-hour shifts anymore. But we'll see how it goes. I'm still going to get the news out there in one way, shape, or form anyway. And with that, I will, Wednesday, I will see you Friday. I'll be working until at least 11 p.m. tomorrow night. I'll go in for about noontime earlier. I got to get my regular hours in too. But in any case, we will be back Friday, and we'll see how it goes then, see what's going on, keep you up to date. People just, you got a chance, man. Just take a hold of your family, lift them up, forgive them, kiss them, love them. Something I haven't been able to do for a long time, and now that the Lord has given me, himself, and a whole new outlook. Just keep them on a short leash. Know where they are at all times. So in case something happens, so that you know where to go to get each other, so that, you guys can get together, or just whatever. You know what I mean. Be safe, be good, and I'll see you Friday. God bless everyone, and peace out.